And we back with another big exclusive podcast. And I'm super excited about this week. If you was here last week, we had a lot of fun. I want to get y'all started early and often. Right now, if you live with us, drop your location or say hi, say what's up. If you live with us, just pop in the chat and say what's up. Share the live stream if you're watching on any other platform. Right, I'm gonna get right into the show. I'm gonna thank my sponsors real fast because it's important. They make this possible for us to stay on, keep doing. They make it possible for us to continue to create the podcast. So I got to thank the sponsors, and I'm gonna run through them. I hope they don't get mad because just we got a long show. I want y'all to buckle up y'all seatbelts. This is gonna have some fun. Some stuff gonna be serious, but at the end of the day, it's gonna be just our opinions. We don't want the gooch or nobody else after us trying to cancel us. This is our opinion. This is how we feel. Respect it. That's all we ask. You're welcome to join the show as well. This is not our show. We just conduits so y'all can get y'all opinions out there as well. So we always try to read the comments out loud. So if you got a comment on something we talk about, just pop it in the chat. First and foremost, let's thank iCraft Mart. If I look good, if I sound good, that's the fault of Critical Shot Studio and the owner, Don. He got his Hayachis on. He in here quiet. Don actually going to say something on the show today. I'm excited to have the executive producer do a little bit of talking on the show finally. Shout out to Bestie Booth. If you have an event coming up, you need that 360 camera that spins around and creates the video and it be popping and it be lit, holla at Bestie Booth. Not only do they have the best of the best equipment, they also have the best of the best, the best of the best customer service. Very nice women of color who take what they do seriously and they take pride in what they do. So for your next event, make sure you guys go holla at Bestie Booth. Got to thank Shea Harmony. Shea Harmony offers all natural products for the body with their whipped shea butter being their most exclusive item. Shea Harmony's whipped and scented shea butter is sure to keep your skin moisturized, sure to keep it soft, sure to keep it smooth, and it soothes dry, cracked skin. And it'll leave you smelling amazing. I can personally attest to that. Okay. Shea Harmony also offers all natural soaps, beard and hair oil, essential oil remedies, and more. Shea Harmony products can be purchased at iCraft Mart. Shea Harmony, bringing harmony to your skin. So without further ado, once again, thank you to all of our sponsors. Let's bring in my co-hosts, my brothers from another. Let's start off with the angriest man in the podcast game. Angry OG, what up?
Hey now,
How's it going,
going
man?
on
How was your weekend?
2 days again.
2 days again?
Yeah, nothing
Okay.
exciting.
Nothing exciting?
I'm still confident. I'm still coming down off what happened to me 2 weeks ago. So
Oh, okay.
you know, I'm still suffering from PTSD from that.
Your grip is still intact?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hey, if you guys missed any of our previous episodes, you can hit our website, thebepodcast.com. You can go back 2 weeks and you would understand what he's talking about. So just go back. You know what I mean? All the shows are archived on our website, thebepodcast.com. Head over there, check out the episodes you may have missed. Um, you do the next introduction, Angry OG. We got another special guest
We got,
co-host in the building.
okay, we got a special guest co-host coming to us all the way from Atlanta. At Spelman, the junior at Spelman, Samia Thomas.
Miss Thomas, hello.
Hi. It's
Spellman,
Wise.
huh?
Huh?
Spellman, huh?
Yes.
Can we
Yes.
get a round of applause? You know what I
Oh.
mean? For the HBCU. Yeah, show love to Spellman. We got another special guest co-host in the building. She was at the live last week. We're gonna do a quick recap of the live that we did. Not last week. It was just Saturday. Last Saturday we were at X Marks the Spot. We'll recap that in a minute. But this lovely guest co-host was in the building. Tiffany Ann, what's up?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Pretty good. How was your weekend?
What's up, Tiff?
Oh my God. Hey, Angry. I'm still cracking up laughing
All
about
right.
that X marks the spot.
I got a new favorite song.
What's that?
I got the Puerto Rican song.
Yes,
Suavemente.
theme music. Come on,
That's my
man.
new.
Samia, how was your weekend, Samia?
She muted.
Oh, am I not
I'm
supposed
listening.
to be? That's
No, you don't have to mute. You can.
Oh, okay. Because that's
How was your
Zoom
weekend?
etiquette. It was fun. I did a lot of sleeping. I had to write a paper. I didn't do it, so I'm still doing it now.
All right, you got to stay on top of the books, okay?
Yeah.
Next up, our brother, the other co-host to the show, he had us out there live at X Marks the Spot for another special event. Shout out to him and his whole team. Our brother, comedian, Top Flight. Flight, what up?
Yes, sir. What's going on, man?
Hey,
Well,
how was your weekend?
My weekend was fun, full of laughter.
Ha! I can't wait to talk about that. But real quick, I asked everybody to say hello on the check-in. We got Jabira on the check-in, Summer on the check-in, Christine, Dawn, Andrea. If you have not done so yet, make sure you guys hit us on the check-in. Let us know you tuned in and you listening live to the Big Exclusive Podcast. So before we get started, yeah, everyone's showing love to Spellman. Everybody's showing love to Spellman. Just give y'all a little taste of what we're going to have going on today. I want to pop the topics on the screen right quick. We're going to talk about some childhood trauma. We're going to do good and bad relationship advice, white tears, weaponized, top 10 TV shows of all time, live show recap, and then we're going to get into gender specific roles in the household. We may or may not get to all of that. You know what I mean? But I know exactly where we want to start. With that being said, we're going to start with the topic of white tears being weaponized, the rise of the Karens. Okay. Now, right out the gate, do you guys mind if I read something right quick? Because I was doing a little research and, how, yo, first of all, Angry OG is the GOAT. I don't know how you doing it, but you are like the GOAT right now. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. But I want to read something that I did. I looked up an article, and it was by Ruby Hamad. And I'm gonna read this, but I want everybody to offer their opinions as well. So just jump in after I'm done reading this. Also, if you tuned in, once again, share the live stream, show some love, like, give us some hearts, laugh if it's funny. Give us the anger if you're mad. But Ruby Hamad wrote this. She said the white damsel has enjoyed an online resurgence in this era of viral memes. In the past couple of years, have seen a proliferation of white women caught on camera in the United States calling police on black people for simply existing. Perhaps no more better. Uh, Perhaps no meme better exposes the dangerous fictions that lies at the heart of a white damsel in distress trope than Barbecue Becky. In this viral video, a middle-aged white woman can be seen on her mobile phone angrily requesting police to show up to eject a black family barbecuing in the park. After many words of consternation between Becky and the white woman who was filming her, a defiant Becky refuses to return a business card belonging to the other woman and storms off. The camera follows her, and the transformation in Becky's demeanor is remarkable to witness. In a
All she
matter
did
of
is stop
minutes,
crying.
she goes from assertive to combative to assertive to defiant. And finally, when she spots and rushes towards a bewildered looking white male police officer, becomes a damsel in distress. Bursting into tears when she reaches her apparent rescuer, she manages to heave out a few words between gulping sobs. I am being harassed. This incident demonstrates the white women are not only aware of their privileged status in society, but use it to surreptitiously manipulate and dominate people of color. Only resort to the damsel in distress archetype of white female innocence and victimhood when challenged.
That's
Whoo,
what they do.
that
All they
felt
got
like
to do
a
is
lot.
start. All they got to do is start crying. They start crying, your black ass going to jail,
Listen,
regardless of the situation.
so what I took away from that is exactly what you said, Angry OG. And this isn't the first time. You can go all the way back to Emmett Till when he
Yep.
was
You're
falsely
supposed to
accused.
looking at her.
Exactly. And it's so graphic the way they killed him. I don't want to get into it.
He was a child.
He was a child, and what was important was his mother said, "Do not close the casket. I want the
Leave it
world
open.
to
I
see
want
it."
everybody to see what happened.
Exactly. So this isn't something new. Um, and Mrs. Hamad in this article surmises that one of the reasons why that the white tears can be weaponized and why um, it even exists and why it's not the same for women of color is because white women are believed to be innocent, but more importantly, the only way to continue the purity of the white race is to protect the white woman, which is why black and brown women don't get that same um, protection or not looked at as so innocent because they can't carry on that white bloodline. So white men subconsciously have the need to protect the white woman over women of color or any other woman for that matter. So for me, the takeaway, first of all, we need to do better as a society because at the end of the day, I watched a video where a woman was in some type of clothing store. I don't know what store it was, and she was filming the lady, and the lady didn't like that she was being filmed, and she tried to snatch the black girl phone out of her hand. And yeah, like so, that's the producer talking behind the scenes. But what happened was she was being very belligerent, was in attack mode, tried to smack the lady phone out of her hand. And when it didn't work, the lady continued to record. Security was called. Security came, right? They didn't ask. It was two of them. And the problem I had
They
was
go straight to the white lady.
they went straight
They
to the
go
white
straight to
lady.
her to find out what happened. Straight to
They
her.
went straight to her to
Straight.
find out what happened. And it was two of them. So one could have took one
No.
and one
But
could have took the other.
they wired to go straight to the white lady.
They went straight because the minute she found out security was on the way,
She's crying.
she threw
That's
herself
terrible.
all on the floor.
Yep.
She crying, throwing this huge fucking hissy fit. And when the black lady, and what made it even worse for me is when the black lady tried to approach the two security officers while they was talking to the white woman, because she clearly is still recording. She heard a lady lying, and she like, yo, that's not what happened. And they like, ma'am, step back, stay back there. You can't. I'm just thinking, like, why isn't she given an opportunity to tell what was going on in her side of the story? Had she not had the camera in her hand recording the whole situation, that lady would have been in jail trying to get bailed out. And then the last thing I'm gonna say before I pass it on is that this stuff is consistently happening, and we turn it into memes, which means it desensitizes and it
It's a
makes
joke now.
what's happening a joke now. And that should not, absolutely should not be the fucking case. That is racist, and it has to stop. We are looked at as animals. Black
The
people are
police.
looked at as animals, and as something that is meant to be feared, no matter how much we smile, no matter how friendly we look, no matter what the clothes is on our back.
We
We're
subhuman.
looked at, we subhuman. So ultimately, like, we can no longer continue to look at Karens as a joke. We can't relegate them to just being Karens. That shit is racist. You can't call the cops on a black person for simply existing.
For
It's
breathing.
racist, right? And it's discriminatory. It's abusive. It's toxic. So we can't, like, just relegate these Karens to memes and joke around the office or amongst our friends. Like, I can't wait to run into a Karen. I'm a whoop her fucking. No, we can't. Like, we have to address that shit. We have to keep exposing them. Like, it's like 4 other incidents that happened that
There's
6
more than
months
that.
ago, 6 months ago would have been huge. It would have been viral all over the internet. But now it's just relegated to, look, Karen's
Because
going
it's a joke
wild.
now. This
And
is a
my
joke.
research, yeah, it's a joke. And my research, I'm looking on YouTube, there's like 7 pages dedicated to Karen's going wild. That is insane. It's not a joke. It's racist, and it should be stopped. But go ahead. Who else has an opinion?
Let's pass it to Samia. This is our wheelhouse.
Samia,
Hi.
hello.
I don't know if it's exactly my wheelhouse. I think we do talk about it a lot. I guess the first thing that comes to mind would be the idea that it's so if Black people are being dehumanized, as you said, it's way easier to dehumanize someone and then to kill them because you don't think they're human. And so to relegate someone
Right.
as like subhuman and animal, it makes it easier and it takes away the humanity from it. And so white people get less of a guilt when they know they're not killing a full human.
Right.
And so like that's why it's easier when like a dog goes missing or something. It's not we don't take it as seriously because they're animals and we don't relegate them to the same status as humans. And so it can be easy to, give Black women like the strong Black woman trope because we're being seen as animals. And so I guess that's where you get that strong Black woman trope because Black women were really seen as like just like feeding tubes for children, slavery and everything. And so it's easy to take away someone's womanism and humanity if you're looking at them as subhuman. And I guess in terms of like the white woman tiers, I don't know. I just think white women do things for themselves. And so when it comes to like white feminism, they're not working to dismantle a system of patriarchy. They're just working to find their way into the system. And so they're not conducive to forming equality for everyone. They're conducive to just getting a seat at the table for themselves. And so that's why like white woman tiers can continue to prosper because they're worrying about themselves. And if they can shed themselves in a very fragile light, then like white men are going to eat out of their hands in ways that they won't do for any other woman of color because we're looking at women of color as animals, if that makes sense.
No, I agree wholeheartedly with what you were saying. Their white fragility, and also with them. See, I never looked at it like that. From the perspective that you just mentioned about them helping dismantle the patriarchy, but rather them finding their way into it to find a seat at the table. So at that point, they can have some sort of power, some sort of leverage that they've lacked this whole time. With you saying that, I want to play this clip. We played it last week, and I'd be very interested, Samia and Tiffany, now that we have some, feminine energy on the podcast, to get your opinions on what this lady said here.
So stitch this and tell me something that white people aren't ready to hear.
White women don't have any internal power. They wield the power of the men around them, their husbands, their fathers, their sons. White women didn't have autonomy for a long time, so we were taught to sexually exploit ourselves and emotionally manipulate those around us in order to do the things we wanted to. White women do not teach their daughters about internal power. It is not something that is passed on, and due to that fact, white women are intimidated by and jealous of the divine feminine within the indigenous and Black communities and the internal power that brings with them. It's one of the reasons that white women are clamoring to appropriate looks and lifestyles that they have been oppressing for centuries. It's also one of the reasons that white women tears are what they are, and the angry Black woman trope works. It makes the white woman the victim, and it covers up the Black woman's power as unjustified anger. I said what I said.
She said what she said. Samia and Tiff, before you respond, let me show our family some love. Remember, if you are listening live on any other platform, make sure you share it. Hannibal, I see you said you need some help with something. I'll circle back to you. Angry OG might be able to offer you the help that you need for Ask Angry OG. Big Rose said he's sliding in late. Who got my chair? Laugh out loud. Daps to the brothers. Hugs to the ladies. Tamika is back. Good evening. Thank you for joining us again. We really appreciate you. Catherine Reynolds is in the building. Good evening. Samir, let's come back to you. And Tiff, we're going to swing right to you right after she finishes.
I don't know. So in terms of white tears, okay, so I like to think about white women as I kind of feel like they can be more powerful than white men because they have a way to manipulate a white man and then also get in his place once they've done so. And so they can wield like the act of like what we feel like women should be. And so white women are able to sexualize themselves in a way to, wield control over men, I think. And it's not an okay way to do so. And it's very patriarchal, but it happens. In terms of like power structures, I feel like, white women, they don't want to build a new power structure. They don't want to dismantle systems, because if you dismantle systems, they would end up being at the bottom, because that would give everyone a chance. So like womanism is like another form of feminism, and it's by lifting up the bottom of the women. So you're lifting up like indigenous women, Black women, and then as you work up from the bottom, everyone at the top prospers. But in order for everyone at the top to prosper and everyone at the bottom to prosper at the same time, then we would all have to live in equality, but there is no financial gain in that, because that would, omit capitalism. And so white women play very well into a system in which only few can prosper financially. And I think they enjoy doing so. And if they don't, then it wouldn't be conducive to having a wage gap.
Got you. Tiff.
I think what she said was very powerful, especially coming from a white woman and admitting to all the irregularities of the emotion.
Tiff, I need you to come closer to the mic.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. It's just really hollow. Sounds a little bit far away.
Yeah, I was trying to fix that. Can you hear me now?
That's a little bit better, yes.
Okay. I think that she touched on a lot as far as the irregularities and the emotions of white women and how they see themselves. I think it's more of an emotional thing with white women, because if you look back in the later times where there were slaves back in those days, even those white men lusted after Black women. So I think it's a lot of jealousy. It's a lot of admiration as well, because they look at Black women as being as strong as we are. I mean, we're a testament to a lot of things. And it's no secret that black women carry a lot on their backs. And I think that's something that white women admire, especially because they're looked at as being lesser than. If you look back in the later times, they stood behind their men. They didn't stand beside their men. They
Right.
weren't always looked at as a stronger being. So I think that a lot of what she said was true, and I think that that touches on what was said earlier as far as just getting the seat at the table. I think that's where all this caring stuff now is coming from. It's more so of a look at me, I'm helpless, and that's how you get the attention by faking and pretending to be helpless to demonize someone else that you admire so much.
I can agree with that. Flight has been one of the only people who were in a unique experience to witness this up front. Have you ever witnessed any Karen moments?
Uh, yeah, man, I was a bunch of them. I was living in the suburbs, so my yellow black ass, that's what they call. I mean, it happens all the time. Well, it happened a lot for me because of where I was living at. I got followed around stores. I even got accused of stealing. Um, Come to find out, I didn't steal it, but it just happens sometimes. It's unfortunate. Uh, Shit. When I remember when I got pulled over, when I was the same cop, he pulled me over twice. With me, it was like, you know, you get out the car, do this, do that, do. And then when I had my ex-wife with me, it was a whole different ball game. It was just more or less, he kind of gave her a dirty look, like, "Why you with this Negro?" So,
Well, why would he shoot her? Did he look though?
cause my yellow black ass not supposed to be up in this area. So,
Why not? What area was it? Like, who was you with?
I lived in Solderton. That's where
Yeah.
we bought our house at.
I'm trying to get
And
you to say that she was with a white woman.
huh?
But you won't say. I'm trying to get you to say that she was with a white woman. But
Oh
you
yeah, I
won't say.
was with a white. I said that. Well, I said well, no, they don't
Yeah,
know.
you
But
didn't
yeah,
say
my
yeah.
wife, my ex-wife is white.
Yeah.
I was in. So yeah, they gave her the dirty look, like, get this Negro from out of our neighborhood. So
So
uh
has she ever um acted in a Karen manner that you were able to witness?
nah, she never, because she liked she loved black people. Not to
No, her
mention,
family
You
don't.
not
almost said something.
not to mention, her children, they're more perceived as black. So she's more on the other side because she has an not, I ain't gonna say she understands, but she has the knowledge of, and she does take the time out to try to get a better understanding. And I think a lot of times that's where a lot of people go wrong on the quote unquote Karen side of the fence.
Did you ever get to sit at the table with the family?
Did I ever sit at the table with the family? Yeah.
Were you ever welcome?
Um, yeah, I can say yes. Our family definitely welcome me with open arms. So, um, yeah, yeah. It wasn't. I didn't experience it from her or anyone around her. It was just more of the neighborhood where we were from, which was in Montgomery County. So, you know, my yellow self not supposed to be up there.
Solid. So here's another, and I'm sorry if you feel like we making this all about you, bro, but you was in a unique position to kind of maybe witness some stuff, and I'm just curious, and I just want to know, and I want you to share with the people, um if it's ever been an issue, because when you get in arguments with your significant other, sometimes they say things and it's like, yo, so have you ever experienced something where she used racism against you in an argument? Because that could be
Nah,
Karen
nah.
behavior.
Yeah, nah. That's what I'm saying. Like, as I think about, and we argued a lot. Goddamn. Nah, never, nothing never came across. It was no inklets. It was no, far as that. Now it was some other stuff, but that's another topic. But nah, she's always been on the up and up. You know, she's always been on the up and up since I've known her. And I honestly, that was one of the reasons why I proposed to her, because at that point in time, she always she kept it real. So she was all for the Black Lives Matter.
She was white though, beloved.
I mean, yeah, she was right. Yeah, you can't change that though. You can't change that, but you can't bubble everybody just by, you know. I mean, even though they try to do it to us, but we allow them to. That's the difference.
So last question, bro, and I'm gonna move on. We just saw that Afion Crockett was on stage during the set,
Hmm.
and a situation happened where Karen, tried to come up on stage or try to dictate to him, what
Yeah.
he was talking about. So my question to you is: you've been all across the country doing comedy. Have you ever experienced um, an incident with a Karen while you was doing a comedy show, either before the show or while you were on stage?
Not me personally, but I've seen it with other comedians. When someone don't particularly like what was being said, but it's black people that feel like that too. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's across the board, but that particular incident, I don't know what he was saying that made her want to get on stage and do that, or
He
she
was just
felt the
talking.
need to
It
do
was
that.
like a regular topic. He was talking about having sex, and she was there with her husband and was saying that it was offensive for him to talk about that. Like she was
Okay,
drunk,
well,
but
I
she was
mean,
drunk.
yeah,
She was drunk, and
at
she
that
felt
point.
privileged, and she got up there, and that was it. Her privilege allowed her, told her to go up there and speak her mind with some ignorant
So,
shit.
so I mean,
But
the
ignorant or not, a drunk mind speak a sober tongue. So
so
she meant
Exactly.
that
right,
shit.
But if you
and
don't, if
and
you don't want to
again,
hear certain shit, don't go to a comedy show.
Right.
right, and that's exactly what I was getting ready to say. Like, you know what you walking into, and I mean, if it wasn't nothing directly towards you or
It
offensive,
was,
or you know what I'm saying,
but
then
that's where the
why
privilege
why
come
take
in
it
at.
so
Exactly, because they feel like they got a champion for everybody else.
Yeah, that's where the
right?
privilege come in. That's why I say fuck them.
Somerset, but the audience yelled they weren't offended.
Yeah,
Right.
they clowned the shit out of her.
Let's
Well,
check.
again, I think if you go back and watch the video, I think what really got underneath her skin is when he called her Karen.
Yeah,
That shit bothered her. So I think, I know we make memes and jokes out of it, but for some
a hit
apparent
dog go
reason,
holler.
a lot of white women don't like being called.
But if you a hit dog go holler. So
So it's like, okay, I get it. It's like, don't do it because it's desensitizing. But if they're trying to hurt our feelings and belittle us and dehumanize us, then here's something back. Something so small as, get your Karen ass out of here. Karen, how dare you call me a Karen? I'm not a Karen. So they know what it means.
Oh yeah,
They know the definition. So it's like another form of them saying nigga, we got Karen.
No,
no, that's not equivalent. That's
that's
not,
not.
because Karen is not a racist word. Like
No.
that's
Yeah,
that's that's the action. Like a Karen is made up because of an act or whatever.
a
Nigga and Karen
behavior.
does not equate. Man, don't do that. Don't do that. They
Samia,
don't.
what was
How
you gonna
far?
say?
Oh, I was gonna say no. Karen would mean that you're calling them racist, and white people. That's like a white person's biggest fear is being told that they're racist.
Yeah, yeah.
Like all white people are inherently racist because they benefit from a system.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Though they benefit from this system, and so they're all inherently racist. But like white people, their biggest fear is to be called racist because then they have to actually check their privilege and see how they combat racism, and usually they don't. And so that's what Karen would mean: is you're being racist.
Big Rose said, apparently I put the fear of God in white women who don't know me. And I've never been a small guy. So anytime I've ever been approached by security or law enforcement, it's always with guns drawn. It's always assumed I'm on probation or doing a crime right then and there. And here it is. I've never been locked up before in my life. Well, I can say what Big Rose says is true because anytime, like, I've been pulled over by police, and it was never just like some routine shit, like, license, registration, insurance. It's always guns out, turn the car off, put the keys on the hood, or drop them out the window, leave both arms out the window, like all this crazy shit. Like, we're gonna have you step out of the car. No reason, no rhyme or reason to have me step out the car, but I always had to step out the car, and they always had to secure me or subdue me before they started an investigation. And one of the worst things that law enforcement has is this thing called probable cause. Because probable cause could mean any fucking thing.
Yep.
It's subjective as hell, and they could say they smell something, they saw something, they'll subdue somebody and then search the car with probable cause, find something, and then that's the reason they had probable cause, because they found eighth of weed underneath the goddamn in a stash box underneath the hood, and then they'll come back and say, "Oh well,
It
when
was
they
in
write the
plain sight.
report up,
It was in plain sight.
it was in plain sight." Exactly. So that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. But when NWA say "fuck the police," and I hear stupid shit like, "But there are good cops too."
But where they be at? Where they be at when the
Listen,
dumb shit happen all the time?
they don't never be around. I ain't never seen a good cop stop no bad cop from harassing me, from putting the cuffs on me. And that goes for anybody. Any incident I've ever seen, anything I ever watched on television, well, not television, like something that's real, that's like, on YouTube, or as a matter of fact, it's these channels called Audit America, and they go around protecting the First Amendment right. And these people, the cops fail every time, because they always violating somebody First Amendment right, or violating due process, or or abusing the probable cause thing. They never follow policy and procedure. They just do what they want, and they tyrants. I say that to say I've never seen a good cop stop one of those cops from doing something
Yeah.
bad. So I don't want to hear
And
that good cop shit.
I hated cops for a long time. And like I said, the reason I hated cops, I was like 11, 12 years old, left out the arcade for playing video games, and the cop pulled up, got out, and put a gun in my face, and said somebody told him that I had a gun. Now, I was like 11 or 12 years old. Kids didn't have guns back then. So who the fuck who called you and told you I had a fucking gun? You lied. And I hated cops ever since then. I was like 11 or 12. Every single cop I hated, probably up until in the late 90s. I got friends in law enforcement, and I got family in law enforcement, but I hated cops. If you was a cop, I hated you automatically from that one incident.
And let me clarify. The reason I said I understood why NWA say "fuck the police" is not because police are incapable of doing their job, right? Police never really fucking prevent anything from happening. They never really deter anything from happening. Um, the things that I like about what cops do, I like when they control traffic. When they into it, they get the dancing and shit. I like when they find gunshot victims and they decide to transport them to the hospital, because I've seen them save lives that way. I like the fact that cops, that the mandate is to protect and serve, and I like the idea, but I don't like the execution, because I think inherently the system, as far as policing, is flawed, and that's a direct reflection of the way that the
They
police
scream. They
was
scream.
started.
Like how do you scream? How do you scream
Like,
these these
the whole
prospects?
reason for police and being an officer was an overseer, and their main objective was to run and hunt down and catch slaves. So
Yeah,
for me, that was born out of that. So it's inherently racist towards people of color from the jump. These policies and these procedures and these laws feel like they're always, you know, here to oppress us.
Yeah, they're,
And
they're not catered for us.
no, absolutely not. Um, Dawn, I want to get to Dawn's comment. She said, I saw a video on TikTok where a lady and her children were in a restaurant and the white waitress asked her, do she want a noose with her order? You
Ooh,
got to be
She
on
can kiss her
Kidney
fucking
Avenue.
ass.
You
wow,
got
See,
to be on
that's when you dog walk
Kidney
her. When they
Avenue.
act like that, you dog. She should have dog walked that bitch
pretty much.
in front of her kids. She should have dog walked that white woman.
Facts. Big Rose said, I've been questioned by an officer in Wawa because I couldn't find an ATM and apparently I look suspicious. Unreal. Christine said, I remember growing up, we were brainwashed to trust police officers. They're the good guys. They kept us safe, blah, blah, blah. That was a bunch of bullshit because we've seen the police harassing our black men, shooting us, raping us, treating us like we're less than human. The sad part is the black cops be worse than the white ones sometimes.
That's fact.
Wow. Wow. And that's all you can say is wow. So, Samia, you mind if I ask you how old you are?
Yeah, I'm 20.
All right, so Ben, the youngest one on the panel today. Um, shout out to Nene just joined. Ben, the youngest on the panel, right? And the future is pretty much yours. Do you have some solution oriented ideas when it comes to anything that we spoke on in this last 40 minutes?
Okay, so in terms of the police, I would think you would defund them. They really don't serve a purpose. They're not really conducive to a fair society. And so we can defund the police and put those funds elsewhere, and maybe like focus on just like sectors that the police do. So like you talked about transporting gun shot, like wounded victims. Other
Right.
people can do that. We don't need police to do that. It's not that deep. And so like if we defund the police and put those funds elsewhere, I feel like that might be helpful. Because they're just
So
not
real
really
quick,
necessary.
when
Yes.
you say defund the police,
Yes.
people hear that and they think it automatically means get rid of cops, period. Right?
Okay.
That's not really. I just want you to expand on what defund the police means, because people hear that and they automatically assumes that, like, racist people automatically assume, or
Yep.
Second Amendment crew automatically assume that we want to get rid of all cops, which doesn't make sense. We still have a criminal element, and law-abiding citizens still want to feel safe in their neighborhoods. So it doesn't mean get rid of the police.
Mm-hmm.
It just basically mean take away the funding for the militarization of the
Yes.
police,
Yes.
right? Take that funding that they in these insanely huge state and federal budgets that the police have to militarize against their own citizens, right?
Yeah.
Take all of that money and bring in social workers, hire more social workers, hire more people who understand what neighborhoods they're policing so that they understand cultural nuances, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna give you an example of that right quick, and Samia, I'm gonna let you come back.
Mhm.
We live in Philly. One of our favorite sayings in Philly is what? Fuck out of here, dickhead. Right?
Mhm.
So if we pulled over by the police or they telling us to walk off and we like, yo, fuck out of here, dickhead. That don't mean we want to get in a gunfight or we want to be killed or we want to be arrested. That's just something we say. So somebody who understands the cultural nuances of the places that they police, maybe a social worker or somebody who's from the neighborhood that they on staff, they would be able to pay them with some of the money that they taken away from the police so that you don't have situations escalate. Those people would understand how to de-escalate a situation, because part of a cop's primary directive is always to de-escalate, right? It shouldn't be pulling out tasers, pulling out your weapon, using force to get your way, because a lot of what the cops, a lot of that problem is ego, right? And we've said for a long time, one of the things we always said down the neighborhood we grew up down the bottom, and OG can attest to this, was that, we thought all cops was the corny motherfuckers that got picked on in school, middle school, and high school. And that's because we saw those guys become police officers and abuse their power. Because now they're in a position of power. They got the badge, they got the gun. So now they think they're in a position of power. No one can pick on them anymore. So now their head is big and their ego is big. So I just wanted to I know I went to the left a little bit, but I just wanted to clarify, Samia doesn't mean take all the money away from the cops and we don't have police officers anymore. That's not what she meant. But you can continue. I'm sorry for, side tracking.
No, you're fine, but also they're not necessary. Like they're not. So I understand what defunding the police mean, but like the police aren't necessary at this point. I think we need to just like I don't like questions about the future because generations prior have already messed things up so much that it's a lot to put on like a future generation to change situations they didn't create. And so honestly, like when I think about the future, I just think I want to have a job and I want to make money and I want to buy my business. I'm not here to dismantle entire systems because that's what it would take. It would take looking at capitalism the way we do, changing that. It would take reworking our laws that were created while Black people were still slaves. So we have to rework entire systems before anything can change. And so that's a lot to put on any generation after. So it's going to take hundreds of years, I feel like.
Wow, and that's coming
Because
from
white people don't want to see power.
they'll never want to
They
concede
don't want to
power.
see power.
But at the rate that black and brown are,
It's inevitable.
it's inevitable that we just gonna live in a black and brown society. Yeah, they're gonna be the minority in maybe 50 years, 60 years,
Probably sooner than that.
Whoa,
probably
whoa.
sooner than that.
But all Black and brown people don't think they're Black and brown. So they
I-
still, you don't have to be a white person to uphold whiteness. You don't have to be a man to uphold patriarchy. You don't have to be the necessary target of that system to want to still uphold it. We have women that uphold patriarchy because they want power in it. We have Black people that uphold like that want to be in such close proximity to whiteness because they want to feel that power. And so as long as we have people that still want to feel that power and still want to be a part of that group, it's not going to be any change.
I wish I had the applause because I definitely understand what you're saying, and it feels like it's always trying to roll a boulder uphill to get stuff changed and try to get people to recognize racism and that we are human, and that is a lot to put on a generation. And like you said, it might take hundreds of years, but at the same time, I think every effort matters. I think a journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step, and I feel like our predecessors have took the first step, and I believe it's a lot of us carrying the torch. And I just hope that future generations, like Samia and her class at Spelman, you know kind of do what they can, and if nothing else, in your own household, right? Doesn't mean you have to take on the system as a whole. It just means do play whatever small parts you can play in it, because all of it adds up to the bigger sum and the bigger win. Um, hey, Aunt Iris, she locked in. Big Rose said, fact is, Donald T made racists very comfortable in this country to be racist while he was in office. And right now, those same racist assholes don't want to let the mindset go that they can do what they want and say what they want to say.
They just got emboldened to come out to the forefront with it. That's all.
Right. Um, Irish Irish said, I just want to say there once were good cops. I believe it ended in the late 90s. Like Officer Long, he passed away though. So the crooked cops, no, she said, so we're crooked what cops ain't, but there were good cops. Now it's the clans wearing the blues, stay woke people. You did a great job. Congrats to you both. I'm not sure what that was in reference to. Would things be different if we had an openly gay black male president?
What? No.
See, he trying to rile the gooch up, man. Get out of here.
He said, "Would
We're
things
not
be
messing with the
different?"
gooch today.
Yeah, we not messing with the goose today.
We're not messing
Um,
with the gooch today.
uh, Ira said, "What good is a cop when they always come after the fact? There are no police patrolling the streets like there was. Now they letting the street cameras and stores and house cameras do their job. So your ass is still so your ass is still ass out. Stay woke and pay attention." Summer and Christine having a little love affair right now. Um, so with that being said, it's 50 past. Christine said, Irish, you're absolutely right. Big Rose said, fight made our relationship with the Gooch cool Saturday. Oh, he said, flight made our relationship with the Gooch cool Saturday. Laughing my ass off. Yeah, if you miss Saturday, speaking of Saturday, that's a good segue. But I don't want to keep Summer. Can you stick around, or did you need to go and finish writing that paper?
Oh, me? Oh, Sumi. Oh, you're calling me my
Samia,
middle name. That's funny.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. It's
They
very
look
close.
so similar.
They're
Yeah,
they're made
the
to be that
SU
way.
double M. I apologize.
No, you're good. It's fine.
Um, so could you stick around for the rest of the show, or did you need to go finish writing your paper?
I gotta finish writing that paper, or I won't be graduating. So yeah.
Now, well, we need you to graduate. I want to say thank you, and I want to say I'm very pleased to have you on the show, and I hope that we get to have you again. And like honestly, um, I think your generation needs to be heard from more often. So I'm going to, reach out to you and mom to see if we can kind of have like a Spellman takeover where you
Okay.
guys take over the podcast and you talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about. It's your show. We'll just stay behind the scenes and let you guys do your thing,
Okay.
so that our audience can kind of be exposed and get an understanding of where you got, because there's always a disconnect between old and young, right? Old, like, yo, we did everything you did before, you not slick, or you guys just don't understand. You guys, like, you guys are old, that's antiquated way of thinking, it's archaic, you don't understand. So kind of like a way to bridge the gap is for us to start listening to each other and get an understanding. And I think it would be a dope show for you and some of your friends or classmates to kind of like take over the podcast one day and do your thing. So
Okay.
I'm going to reach out to mom. I'm going to reach out to you, and we'll see if we can make that happen. But get back and study. We super appreciate you and your opinions and your thoughts. And I think you were pretty on point. And look out, world, because here comes Samia, right?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Have a good rest of your night. And I'm sure you're going to ace your paper as well.
I hope to. Thank you. Good night. Bye.
Good night. That was Samia joining us all the way from ATL down at Spelman. I'm so encouraged to have young women of color on the show. I think they're shining examples, and Samia was definitely an example of where, if she's the example, I feel like, the future is in good hands. You know what I mean? I would love for my daughters to see, what she talked about and be exposed to her as an example of, that black girl magic, women of color, intelligence. Um, she's a very dope young woman, and I appreciate her coming on. So with that being said, we're gonna get into a live a recap of the live show. Christine said that's a great idea, bro. The future generation needs to be heard. Absolutely. Big Rose said, clapping for that young, intelligent black woman. Future looks bright. Ro, I couldn't agree more. Dawn said, nice having you, Samia. You're a smart young lady and you're going far. Agreed. So proud, makes me smile, says Big Ro. And facts, he also said exclusive. So we got an opportunity to do a live show on Saturday night. We did it in the Germantown section at a spot called X Marks the Spot. Flight put that play together. Headliner was Eddie Green. Flight was hosting. I just
Eddie
want to
Green was out of pocket, man.
what happened?
Eddie Green was out of pocket.
How was
Yes,
so first and foremost, a huge
hilarious.
salute to everybody who came out Saturday night. You know what? I'm gonna let Tiff tell y'all about Saturday night because for some reason y'all think I get on here or we get on here and we be capping about how good a time we have when we do live shows. Like Tiff, tell them what we had going on Saturday night at the live show.
That was such a dope show. Like I had the time of my life that night. All the comedians were amazing. Top Flight, you got me saying da 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 for no reason. And Eddie
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Green, like I found my new theme song with Suavemente. Like that's my
Suavemente.
that's my shit. But when I tell you, everybody was interactive. We was all having a good time. It wasn't no nonsense. It was just grown folks having a good time, laughing together, and just sharing that moment. Like it was
Somebody got to
monumental.
play that song.
Oh yeah.
Somebody
Every
got to
time I
play it. You got to play that song. Somebody got to play
oh
it
my
tonight. Somebody
God.
got to play it tonight.
Listen,
Yes. We got a
listen.
special person here, big exclusive. Somebody wanted to say hi.
Who Haitian Jack?
Big Mike,
He
what's
got
up with you, big fella?
he hide in the
Yo,
corner.
How you
yes,
you the
I'm
kid?
always in the cut.
Hey,
What
listen.
I do?
Hey, is he the dude on the couch or what? He just came out of nowhere. He
Yeah.
bolstered into,
Hey,
he
yo, hey,
dissolved into
listen,
the scene.
you know my history with that. Chill, bro. You know my history. I pop up everywhere. You know
I
that.
just was asking him like, yo, what Mike been at? We ain't
Yeah,
seen Mike in a little while.
we ain't seen you on the show or nothing, bro. You didn't abandon us. Like that, we ain't seen you. We miss your commentary, bro.
Hey,
Um,
listen, I ain't come to the show because I was on daddy duty, dog. You know what I do.
no. I'm talking about like regularly in the comments and stuff. We missed
Oh,
you,
no,
bro.
I'm always listening, and I just got to observe what's going on.
Oh,
That's all.
he be lurking. He be lurking.
Yeah.
He be lurk. You a lurker now, Mike. But
You know this.
Saturday night, like Tiff said, it was grown folks having a grown time. Shout out to the sponsors. We had a bunch of swag at that John, bro.
Yes.
We had swag bags. Shout out to Shea Harmony. She laced us up with some shea butter, some soap. Shout out to Be Adored Boutique. They laced us up with some Hamza hand necklaces, gold and
Mhm.
silver. We was able to give those away. We were able to give away
White only pop.
white only pie. You got to be an insider to know what white only pie is.
I about to say,
Flight
and and,
almost
and,
had some
Right,
white
like
only
and I
that's
pie.
some
almost,
white only
yeah,
pop.
y'all almost set me up.
Like, your, your pie was good. Thank you.
Shout out to my cousin Dan Reynolds in the building. He said, "Yo, Black Power Fist, Summer laughing at Big Roll, Hamza hand necklaces sound dope, bro. They are dope. You can follow them at Be Adored Boutique on Instagram. I was supposed to get everybody at the live show to do that. So if you were at the live show and you listening now, or if you listening right now, follow Be Adored Boutique. It's spelled exactly how it sounds with the BE Adored ADORED Boutique BOUTIQUE. Hopefully my public school education
Oh,
paid off right
you
there.
passed the spelling bee.
I passed the spell. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yo, listen, insider. Anything that I need proofread, y'all be giving Angry OG a hard time. This motherfucker is like the Encyclopedia Britannica and dictionary all rolled in one. I send everything to him. Yo, proofread this for me, bro, right quick. Because I'll be so excited to get stuff out to the people that I'll just let it fly. And then somebody will comment, like, you got the grammar and the spelling police on Facebook. Man, they jump right on you like, you spelled that wrong. And I'll be like, damn. So now I'll just send it to Angry OG first. If he don't say nothing, normally he get right back to me if it's a problem, like, yo, you spelled that wrong. But if it's like 5-6 minutes past, I know I'm good on the spelling. But yeah, point is follow Be Adored Boutique, and I spelled that right. Shout out to Belmont, Salzburger, William Penn, Shout out to University City and the University of Delaware. Go Blue Hens. Big Rose says, shout out to Flight. That was genius how he sparked the energy up because the crowd was a little dead, but Flight lit that shit on fire.
It's the
Salute.
white boy, man. Fuck her right in the pussy.
No, I didn't want to say that night. Like he was talking about fucking his stepdaughter. He was talking
Yeah,
about fucking
like
his
he was wild.
mom.
He was wild. Like
Hey,
Yeah,
look at my cousin. Look at my cousin. Look at my cousin in the comments. Look at my cousin in the comments. That's how you hold me down.
yeah,
That's how you hold me down.
it was weird, man. The crazy thing is, I did a show with this dude in Lancaster, and he killed. Like it was, I
he
don't
was out
know,
of his element. He probably was out of his
Was
element
he telling
Saturday.
the same joke?
huh?
Was he telling the same joke?
No, like that. I wouldn't abort that down there. Like,
He was
no,
out, he was out
I
of his
wouldn't.
element, man.
And see, he probably changed his whole set, right?
Yep.
To try to make it Black Lives Matter friendly or Black people friendly or
Yeah.
something like that.
And he
And
bombed. And he
yeah.
knew it was like, damn, I'm bombing.
No, but
And
I'll
look,
give it to him though. He had courage. He
yeah,
definitely had courage.
yeah.
he hit the stage OG like this. Yo, that's the bull fucker in the pussy. I'm like, what? I'm like, and I remember
Did
like
his wife hide
vividly.
in the cut? Where did his wife go?
His wife was
She
hot,
said,
and she was embarrassed. She was like, "Oh my, I don't know why he did. I told him not to go up there and try these new jokes." And, like she was apologizing for him. Like that's when you know it's bad when your wife is like, "Listen, I'm so sorry. I don't know why he should have just stuck with the regular. And he come up here. We done drove too far for this nonsense." And I'm just like, "Sweetie,
He
it's okay."
tried.
I'm like, he got a second chance, and then he turned around and did the same thing the second show.
mm.
Wow.
No.
Look, Big Rose said,
He's
and
bold.
now
I give him
Flight
that.
is an
He's
accepted
bold.
partner to the LGBTQT. Laugh out loud.
We
Oh
don't
yeah,
call it that. It's the
follow
goop.
me, follow
Uh,
me,
Whoa, that song that the
follow
road played all
me.
the next day.
Wanda Dennis Shank said, hey, Tiffany.
Hey, Mom.
Oh, that's Dukes. How you doing, Mom Dukes?
My mom
So yeah,
listens every Tuesday.
so what we're going to do, can we put another show on a live show on the books? We got three options. We can do it at Light It Up Cigar again. You guys in the comments right now, let me know because we got to move on to the next topic. But we want to plan another live podcast. We have an option to do it at Light It Up Cigars. And for everybody who was there, you know how epic that was. We got an opportunity to do it down at Billy Penn Studios, or there's a hookah lounge down 3rd and Market that we could do it at. My personal favorite is going to be Lighted Up Cigars. We got friends there. The atmosphere is dope, but I understand some people don't like, the cigar thing. But it was a great time. People didn't like cigars because it's such a well ventilated place. It wasn't an issue, and it's parking friendly, like Nene said. Cousin said, hit
I
the
got one
cigar
question.
joint. What's the question?
Flight. Your son's still acting right?
He's still getting vagina. He's still getting vagina. Look. The second show, his mom came. His mom was there. She was like, "So you just gonna go on stage and tell all our business?" I was like, "Hell yeah!" I was like, "I'm proud of him." I was like, "I'm proud." She was like, "You know, it's crazy. I'm kind of glad he got some." I got tired of fucking him up and yelling at him. Like now, he's so calm. He's cool. Like he laid back. He like, "Hey, what's up, Dad?" I was like, "You know, you all right? You yeah, I'm just going to my girlfriend's house. I'm just gonna chill." And okay, all right. You got them things with you. He's like, "Come on, Dad. Like I'm good." I was like, "All right, I'm just saying, you know." So I mean, it's a joke, but it's the truth. Like a whole 360. Like this time last year, this dude was a whole asshole and C's and D's, and now I'm like, I ain't gonna lie. This is how bad it was. I called the teacher and was like, "Are you sure he got like those grades?" They like, "Yes, he got those grades." Like, So
Wow.
straight, I mean, literally five. He had 7 grades. It was three A's, and the rest was B's. So
Big
three
Rose
A's
said,
and
like a neutered pit bull, laugh my ass off. Time is hell now. Summer said that's his equivalent to smoking weed. He chilling.
he chilling.
So
Right.
look, don't get no more away. You had to be there. You catch it at the. You're trying to understand what he say. You'll catch it at the next live podcast. Right now, the comments are coming in. Looks like Lighted Up Cigar is leading the way. Comment where you want us to do our next live podcast. Matter of fact, I need this shit in black and white, right? If you come into the next live podcast, I need you to jump in the chat right now and say, I'm coming, or I'll be there, or like count me in. Just acknowledge the fact that you're going to be there if you're going to come to the next podcast.
I have one request for the live podcast.
You got one request. Okay. What is it?
One request. I need to see Angry Old Head come out to Suavemente.
Hey, yo. Hey, yo.
I'm
I
about to
need to
say.
see you come out there.
All right. In that case, then I'm coming out to follow me.
All right.
Follow me. Follow me.
Yes.
All right, we got some people. Christine said I'm coming. Big Roll. Big Roll, for people who don't know, is our unofficial but official co-host to the Big Exclusive Podcast and security too. So don't trip. All right. Rima said depending on the date. Nene said coming. Oh, it's gonna be a party if Victor Newman gonna be in the building. Smoke said I'm there, big homie. Summer said I'm there. That's very encouraging to see. So I'm gonna talk to the fellas. We gonna do what we do for him. Voltron, pick a date. Looks like Lighted Up Cigar is gonna be the place. So I'm gonna call Uncle Shug or Big Russ, one of the owners of Lighted Up Cigar, and let him know we coming through. I'm gonna just get with the team. We gonna figure out a date. We gonna get the flyer made, and then I'm gonna be expecting y'all to come too. All right. It's gonna be it's gonna be some fun, man. Shout out to Dan. He said I'm a slum through. Um and if he coming from all way, like he like upstate New York. Yeah, if he coming through that, like it's definitely gonna be a blessing in the party because he traveling. He traveling. Just look over your show, the honey. I'll be there. Oh, just look over your shoulder, honey. I'll be there. That's Michael Jackson. Okay, Dawn. I see you. Let's keep the show rolling, though, man. We got some fun topics. That one was just serious. I think this one is going to be fun. But I want to make sure it's on the list. Did you add it to the list, bro? Oh, yeah, it's there. Top 10 TV shows of all time. Top 10 TV shows of all time. Top 10 TV shows of all time. Now, y'all might think where does this stuff come from, right? Dan said actually coming from Massachusetts, laughing my now. We deep right now. Whoa. Right into the next joint in the Angry Mobile. Yo, he got to see Roll got to see Angry OG car. He got to see the spaceship. He been talking about that shit since he's seen it, bro. It's a nice car. It's a nice car. He called it the Angry Mobile. So what I need y'all to do is I need y'all, like everybody who's tuned into the sound of my voice right now, doesn't matter where you listen at, where you listening from, make sure you share the podcast, please. It's important. But we need y'all to comment your top 10 TV shows. Top 10 TV shows. We have count them, 2 swag bags left over from the live podcast. Summer, don't do that. You never know. She says, nobody likes my shows. I'm not commenting. You never know. Don't be like that. All right. Comment your top 10.
I want to hear what you got to say, Summer.
I definitely do too. Because this one sparked because Angry OG and I was on the phone. He I tell you, we talk every day, and he hit me with a TV show. He had told me about Chicago PD. And I was like, oh, word. So I started checking it out. Next thing you know, I'm binge watching. I'm trying to work. I'm fucking shit up. I can't spell, so I got to send it to him because I'm watching Chicago PD. Um, but I had mentioned a TV show, and he was like, "Man, that shit don't be in nobody top 10. Ain't nobody watching that." And I was shocked. Like, no, I'm sure it's in everybody's top 10. If you get people 10, and I'm gonna tell y'all the show that I'm talking about. But right now, I want y'all to comment y'all top 10 TV shows of all time. We're gonna try to get through this one quick because there's some other stuff we want to discuss. We want to get into the childhood trauma, which I'm sure is going to take a while. We promised we was going to do that last week, so I want to make sure we do it. Great thing is, it's our podcast, our platform, our show, so we can go over if we want. We just ask that y'all be patient with us and stick around. If y'all having fun, let me know y'all having fun. So, Tiff is our special guest, right? And she's a lady. I'm not going to ask you for 10, but as many as you can name up to 10, your favorite TV shows of all time.
Damn, I didn't want to go first.
All right, solid. Your wish is our command. Flight looked like he in deep thought. He looked like he got his Leave It to Beaver in his head. Flight. Top 5 or top 10 TV shows of all time.
Uh, Family Matters.
Family Matters. Okay.
Sanford and Son.
Oh, good.
What was the name of that other TV show? Eh, oh man, Sanford and Son. Full House. Don't judge me. I don't care. Um,
No, I agree with Full House.
Living Single.
We are living.
Different World. The Cosby Show.
Okay.
What's that? 7. What is the name of that other joint? It's a white show. Girls were girls and men were men.
All in the Family.
All in the Family. Al Bundy. What was that? Married with Children.
Yeah.
Married with Children.
And what's the joint with Malik Yoba? And he was
New
a
York
cop.
Undercover.
New York Undercover. There you go.
All right. Before I go to the next person, I want to give a special shout out to Miss Tamika Peterkin Robinson. She said,
and I forgot Martin. Can't forget Martin.
Okay. She said, The Cosby Show, Martin, The Sopranos, The Wire, Game of Thrones, Walking Dead, Good Times, True Blood, Sanford and Son, and Friends. That's not a bad list. The only one I for some reason, Friends never resonated with me. The rest of the list is top tier. I forgot about True Blood. That was a great show. Big Role come back with In Living Color, Martin, Cosby Show, Different World, Transformers, Voltron, Knight Rider, The Wire, G.I. Joe, Muppet Babies. Solid list there, bro. Never really got into the Muppet Babies. I felt like I'm surprised to see animation on the list, but if it was animation, Transformers and Voltron would definitely be on my list. But I only thought of one animated show in my list, and I don't think it made the list. I just think it's an honorable mention. Let's go to one more before we go to the angry. Time. What is that? Did you just hear that, or am I tripping?
Music playing.
Yeah, it was some type of music playing. I don't know where that came from. Dawn said, "Leave It to Beaver." Sanford and Son, The Jeffersons, and then there's Maude, The Golden Girls, the Cosby Show. Okay, yeah, that was she on a cell phone because that was definitely.
Let me drop my 10.
All right, so we're gonna go to Angry
Let me
OG
drop my 10.
to drop his 10. You got it, boss.
I'm gonna go with The Sons of Anarchy, The Wire, Yellowstone, Snowfall, Ray Donovan, Banshee, The Sopranos, Chicago PD. I gotta put Martin in there, and I would say Ozark.
Ozark. Oh, I forgot about Ozark. Solid list, bro. Solid list. Um, Flight disappeared, but let's get into Summer's top 10. She said Cheers, Frasier. Frasier was a really good show. Cheers was too. Cheers, Frasier, Maud, Quincy, Trapper John MD, Cosby Show, Insecure. My cousin is on this season, so watch. Summertime's her cousin's on Insecure. Definitely got to watch that. Gidget, damn, who were I don't Gidget?
It was
Yeah,
good. That's
Gidget
a good
was
one.
good. Yeah, Living Single, Three's Company for sure. Yo, Muppet Babies is my ish. I was just watching the Jetsons. Yeah, Jetsons
Yeah.
was good. Uh, we had some one-offs. I don't want to miss anybody. Uh, Nene said Law and Order. My cousin Daniel Reynolds said The Monsters, Fresh Prince, Law and Order, The Boondocks, I Love Lucy. Big Roll come through in Living Color, Martin, Cosby Show, Different World, Transform. Oh, I already read that one. Sorry. Who do we have? Uh Wanda said that's one of Tiffany's favorite. Nene Nashua. Nene
Which one,
said
Mom?
The Brady Bunch. Nene also said Sister Sister. Christine said Mama's Family. She also said Living Single. Nene said What's Happening. Tamika said The Boondocks. That was a good one. Summer said What's Happening. Yo, what's happening? Big Rose said Nice Angry Sons is the shit. He's definitely right. The Wire and Sex in the City. Summer added. Christine
Yeah, Summer.
said she loved Charmed. I knew she was gonna come with that. That was one of our favorite shows. Nene said Gilligan Island. Christine said Alf and Small Wonder. Talk about throwbacks. Summer said she was just watching Alf. Don said
Wow.
no love for the Twilight Zone though. Dawn Myrick said we are little Rubiks or little rascals, the amazing cube. And your mom said Three's Company.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I see. I had more than 10.
Well, that's fine. Run them off. You ready?
All right. I'm ready.
Go.
Three's Company, Living Single, Martin, Don't Judge Me, Dragon Ball Z, The Cosby Show,
I
The
love DBZ.
Boondocks, Insecure, Golden Girls, Power, Different Strokes, Old Christine, Cheers, Give Me a Break, The Flintstones, and Tales from the Crypt.
Oh, Tales from the Crypt. That was another one. Yeah, that was another one. Like you'd have thought would have got more love. Um, so let's go through a couple more and then I'll give my list. Big Rose said, wait till you see my gadget. Uh You'll want her for Valentine's. You're going to say, hey, don't give that gadget away. Well, damn it, you're going to find that gadget is mine. Laughing, laughing my ass off. Summer said, yes. Don said, hella black people love Three's Company. This is a shock to me. Christine said, give me a break was my ish. Summer said, old Christine,
Yes,
and give me a break. Lake Fran said, girlfriends, desperate housewife. Dawn said,
Desperate
family
Housewives.
ties.
Yeah.
So my list, right quick, I had put it down. Honorable mentions. The only animation I had was The Simpsons. I think The Simpsons is pretty good, especially at predicting the future. You just never know with them. So that's it, and it's been on for over 20 years, right?
30.
30. So I'll give away a swag bag to anybody who could tell me what show The Simpsons started on. Right? They didn't come out as their own show first.
Mm.
If you could tell me what show The Simpsons started on, I'll give you a swag bag. So my honorable mention is The Simpsons, Oz, Chicago PD, Boardwalk Empire, and Homeland. My top 10 in no specific order whatsoever. Just my top 10. Peaky Blinders, Dexter, Martin,
Oh, yeah.
Sons of Anarchy, The Cosby Show, Snowfall, Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, Sopranos, The Wire. That's my top 10.
That's a list.
Let's go back.
Nobody listen. One of that show we talked about that you
So
said was
yeah,
on everybody's list. It
cats
wasn't
out
on
the bag.
nobody's list.
Now,
It
wait
wasn't
a
on
minute.
nobody's list.
Wait a minute.
No,
You
it
said
wasn't on nobody's list. Nobody said it.
that's because just like everybody's like, yo, I forgot about that one. Like
No, you
it's
don't
on
forget about your show. You don't
show.
forget about your show. Your top shows you don't forget about. You said it would be on everybody's list. Nobody named it.
Summer gets the swag bag. Tracy Ullman show. That is correct. Simpson started on the Tracy Ullman show. Big Role said Batman and Robin, the Incredible Hulk, Greatest American Hero. Dawn looks like she tried to get it in with the Tracy Ullman show. Tiff nailed it. She gets sent it in a private chat though, because she really couldn't win the swag bag anyway. Smoke said the Young and the Restless. Summer, yes, you definitely won. Actually, Summer still has to get her lick me all over body butter. Christine late with it. Simpsons came from Tracy Ullman show. Nene come with the correct answer, but it's too late. So did Big Roll. So did Tamika, Dawn. And he said
They
Big Roll
all
said it was
Googled it.
very horribly,
They all Googled
horribly
it.
drawn. Christine said, I want a swag bag. Shout out to our sponsors again. She said, I need it. Yeah, it's that time of year, man. Get your skin right. You can get dry and ashy real quick in this cooler weather. Get you some Shea Harmony whipped body butter from iCraftMart.com. So the show we was talking about, right? That OG just called me on, which I thought for sure would be on everybody's list. Because I think it's one of the best shows in the history of television, right? And it's a little show called Breaking Bad. And nobody said Breaking Bad. Nobody said The Shield either. The Shield, yeah. But I
And
thought,
everybody's favorite show.
yeah, right. It's subjective. People like what they like. Oh, I forgot to mention Wentworth. Not in my
No,
top
but
10.
you was sure. Well, it's gonna be on everybody's list, and
I'm sure, bro. I still feel like if you put that out there and on social media land, I still think Breaking Bad is still
no, we just put it out on this podcast, and you bombed. We're not putting it nowhere else.
first of all, you're not gonna tell
We
me
put it in
what
front
we
of
ain't
what we
doing.
got going on, and you bombed.
I'm saying I, all
No,
right. I'm conceding that.
just eat it. It's over.
I'm conceding that. I'm
Okay,
conceding that.
we're not putting it out in front of nobody else.
No, I am. I
Ain't
am.
no do overs. Ain't no
It's
do
not
over.
a do over. It's
It is
not a do over.
too,
How is it a do over,
because you're trying to do it over in front of another audience.
bro? This
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 is the
this
audience that you said
this
it would come out
this
on.
this is a small sample size,
It
bro.
don't matter. It
We
don't
need to
matter. It don't matter. You knew it was a small sample size, and you were so sure that it would be on everybody's list, right or wrong.
look at this. Summer just said. Christine said she want a swag bag. Summer said you can have mine. Give my bag to Christine Reynolds. Uh, Summer said, does Jeopardy count? Jeopardy does count. Jeopardy is really good. Um, Never gave Breaking Bad a chance, and I heard it was dope. That's because it is Big Roll. It is, and I admittedly it starts off really slow, but if you can get through like that first 3 episodes, you in for one of the
You know,
greatest
we all
shows
about that action, boss.
ever written, ever
All about
acted.
that action, boss. If it starts slow, it ain't gonna captivate nobody's attention.
Shout out to Mama Dennis. She says she has to go. She's about to start her Bible study class virtually. So prayers to you, Mom. And we appreciate you locking in as long as you did. Thank you. Dawn Prison Break, Rima laughing.
Prison break is good.
Nene said, calm down, killer. Somerset Wanda, bye Tiff's mom. Thank for watching. Dawn said Oz. Summer is the GOAT. The Dukes of Hazard. Knight Rider, Baywatch. All right, so I thought Breaking Bad would be on everybody's list.
Moving right along.
Clearly, I was wrong.
Moving right along. Just take the L, man.
I'm taking the L, bro. I'm taking it. I'm taking it. I'm gonna take the L. I don't like it, but I'm gonna take it. I really don't. I don't
You
know
right.
how so many people overlook Breaking Bad. Look at this nut shit here. Look at this, Christine. I never seen Breaking Bad, bro.
Yeah.
This some bullshit. All right, we gonna finish the show out. We're gonna get back on our serious, John. We're gonna talk about. I don't know what happened to Flight. Like he didn't send me a message. I don't know what happened.
He's probably taking the shit again.
He tried. He probably what?
Taking the shit again.
Um, this is the first podcast that ever had somebody take a shit live on the podcast. Like it's amazing. Like the big exclusive podcast, OG, we had some real live first. The first podcast where the co-host took a shit live on the podcast. The first podcast to catch a predator live on the show. We out here catching predators. I'm telling you. The first podcast, Freddy's Cougar scared the shit out of one of the hosts, literally. That story is up, by the way. If you missed that. Oh man. Dawn said she saw it. Nene said I didn't either. Me neither, laugh out loud. Where did Flight go? We have no idea. Don't sound so defeated. Rima, I'm pissed off, man, because I thought people knew good television. Well, y'all do know good television. For some reason, I put it to you like this. If you Google like top 50 TV shows all
Yo,
time,
you begging now. You
it's
begging.
always at the
It's,
top.
it's unbecoming. You're begging now.
It's always at like the
You're
top
begging.
5. Ain't
You're
nobody.
begging now.
He took his flight. Um, and it should be the last. Ew, I agree with Summer on that one. Nene said, "We the shit." I'm just saying, the best podcast. We appreciate that kind of love. Tell a friend to tell a friend that it's them again. Angry OG, comedian Top Flight, and Big Exclusive on the Big Exclusive podcast. Let's talk about some childhood trauma. So, this topic came about. OG and I, we like we always do. Um, Nobody says scandal. Scandal could be a topic all its own because I had some serious issues with that show, Scandal. But I
I didn't watch
digress. Huh?
it. I didn't watch it.
Okay. All right. But I digress. We'll save that topic for another day. Smoke, just a quick question. You like Scandal? Summer said, oh my God, Scandal. I have so many problems with that show. But in any event, this topic came about because OG and I do like we always do. We get on the phone, we talk about one thing or another, and back from getting his ass whooped is Top Flight. Not
Hey,
sure
man,
you want.
my daughter calling me. Anyway, that's a whole
We,
nother story.
we thought you was taking the shit again.
Nah, man. My daughter, these kids, I don't know what's wrong with these kids. They want to be grown so bad. Then when it's time for them to do grown up shit, they don't want to do it. Like, wait a minute, time out. You just told me the other day that I'm a grown ass woman. I'm 20 years old. I could do this. I could do that. But here you are. You calling me 23 times for what? Because you need Uber money. I'm like, what do you keep calling me for? You keep ignoring me. I'm busy. Dave. What's wrong? I need to talk to you. Okay, what's wrong? I'm stranded. I need $15. I get home. Well, wait a minute. Time out. You just told me the other day you a grown ass woman. That's what you told me. So do grown up shit. I'm not giving you Uber money. Get the fuck out of my face and leave me alone. All right. I'm sorry. I had to get it off my chest. I'm back.
All righty. Shout out to Flight daughter. and needing to be grown. Side note, I tell kids all the time, be children. Adulting is ghetto as fuck, and it's not as fun as you think it is.
Mhm.
Enjoy, free room and board and food and laundry and everything else you can get when you're a kid. I listened to a comedian one day. He said, you know, as a kid, you lived the life. You could walk out the house. You didn't need no wallet, no phone, no nothing. You didn't even need money in your pocket. You could just run out the door and had the time of your life. As an adult, you walk out the door without your phone, you being and broke the goddamn door
Whew.
down to get back to that phone. So, but we wanted to talk about some
Mhm.
childhood trauma. So, again, um, if you hear the sound of my voice and then you listen to the show, don't forget to share. It's about to get good. Tag some people in here. We're going to discuss some childhood trauma. OG and I, like I started before, we get on the phone, we do our 1-2. Somehow we end up on childhood trauma and how the traumas that we, or how our experiences as kids shaped us as adults today. Um, so we grew up in a neighborhood, and you always hear me or OG reference the bottom because that's just where our roots come from. That's where um, we was born and raised. We no longer live there, but we still have family there, friends there, and we still down there. But we started talking about some of the things that we went through as kids and how those things we went through as kids affected us as adults. And one of the things that I personally talked about, as a matter of fact, OG told his story about, the cop um, when he was down 40th Street and his mom had to
No, I
intervene
was on 38th Street.
on 38th Street.
Right.
And, you know what I mean? His mom had to intervene, and how that shaped his view of police today as an adult. So I started, thinking about some of the things that I experienced as a child that kind of shaped um, who I am today. Because you guys hear me from time to time say on this show that we all are just a sum total of our experiences. And I also say that past pain equals privacy. So a lot of times, a lot of my experiences that I experienced as a child, I wouldn't say haunt me to this day, but it definitely affects the way I see people, the way I deal with people. The one thing I will say that most people who know me will say that I'm an extremely private person. And that stems from, you know, things that happened in my childhood. One thing and that made me into the person I am today, especially with being private and not wanting to share a lot of experiences online with people or with people that I know, with the exception of confidants. Like I feel like OG is a very good confidant. He allows me to kind of have those uncomfortable conversations or say those things that in any other setting could be embarrassing, but he allows me the space to get it off my chest without the fear of being judged. Like I can say I appreciate him because he never judges me, despite whatever it is that I tell him. But part of that feeling the need to be extremely private is because I was embarrassed about a lot of things growing up. And I'll share one experience that truly embarrassed me growing up was the fact that I didn't have a dad growing up. And I was extremely embarrassed about not having a dad because the fact of the matter is a lot of people knew who my dad was, but me. And people would actually call me this man name, and I would get extremely offended because I'm like, I don't know that man. I used to see him in the neighborhood, and at one point, what really made me embarrassed is he was the neighborhood car wash guy. Like he would walk up with buckets and he would take $5 to clean your entire car inside and out. And people would call me this. I'm not gonna say his name on air, but people would say, "Yo, look at Lil so and so. That's what you're gonna be doing when you grow up. You gonna follow in your dad's footsteps." And the shit used to be embarrassing, and it used to really piss me off, and I used to get so angry that I didn't want nobody to know that this man was my dad, and I didn't want the confirmation either. So for me, that embarrassment forced me to deal with situations a little bit differently because I remember the way I dealt with it was that I withdrew internally. I put a shell around myself and I decided, I'm just going to deal with this on my own the best way I know how. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want anybody to know that that's my dad. So I'm going to just shield myself from him. If I ever see him, I'm gonna go the opposite direction. If he out there watching somebody's car that I know, I'm not gonna go in that area. I'm gonna try not to come outside. So I had figured like that's the only way to deal with that because I didn't want that embarrassment or that pain or people associating me with the fact that he was out there washing cars and have that expectation of me growing up that that's what I was going to be doing, washing cars. So it's really embarrassing to know that my father was out there, number one. Number two, he knew, everybody else knew, and I didn't accept it. So with him knowing that I was out there and him not wanting to establish a relationship with me made it even worse for me because I'm like, yo, what made me a throwaway? Like, it caused all type of, weird feelings like, yo, am I ugly? Am I too big? Because I was always taller and bigger than everybody else. So all those things that most women may find attractive about me, I saw as flaws because they came from him, which made me embarrassed about that stuff.
And he never was treated.
And it was never treated, right? So I started therapy late in my life. Like, I'm in therapy now, but ultimately, um, as growing up until therapy became a thing 5 years ago, 6 years ago, where it started to be a little more acceptable in our community, I sought treatment for a little while. But inevitably, a lot of the things, a lot of the trauma, and a lot of stuff, my mental issues stem from me and my father's relationship or lack thereof. Like my sisters even used to tease me about him being my dad. Because at one point, my mom said, and we said his name last week, Greasy G. He made the best cheese sticks. At one point in time, my mom said that that was my dad. So I thought my sister's dad was my dad. Truth be told, it wasn't. So that was another source of embarrassment for me because I would go up to the corner store and call this man dad, and he would look out for me. But at the end of the day, he also knew that he wasn't my father. So a big salute to G Gerald for knowing the truth, but not exposing it to me and still making me feel worthy of being his son when he didn't have to. Until this day, he still called me his son. He always said, if you ever need anything, you know what I mean? I'm always here.
That's
Uh,
my overhead.
yeah, he to
That's
this day. He was just up here. I didn't get the opportunity to see him. I was supposed to
yeah,
go
I
to
didn't see him
a
either.
party. But yeah, mad respect for him. Another man that I grew up with, my little brother's dad, Joe Wharton. Um, he was there when nobody else was there. When G Gerald had moved on and moved to the Carolinas, and him and my mom weren't together, but he still showed up to basketball games, football games. He still showed up to graduations. He always left money, but the money is not something I remember. I remember him being there in times of triumph for me. So I always felt really close to Joe because he connected with me on that level. The time was there. One of the things he used to do, he used to put us in his car and take us to like Lincoln and Cadillac dealers.
He
And at
always
the
had a nice
time,
car.
huh?
He always had a nice car.
He always had a nice car. Absolutely right. And he would load us in his Cadillac or his Lincoln, and he would take us to the dealerships and let us get in and out the cars. Because at the time, all the cars on the lot were unlocked. You could just get in them like, yo, this is my car. So a lot of my childhood pain or a lot of my adult pain and me trying to deal with situations, which is the biggest issue that I face as an adult, being completely transparent, is that when I go through stuff, I ball up into a shell and I protect myself from the world. I don't want to communicate. I don't want to talk to anybody. I want to deal with that shit on my own. The other issue is I practice like some very psychological warfare. Like, I don't like, to me, physical violence isn't enough. Like, you have to suffer mentally like I did. So I'm learning in therapy exactly what's happening when I start to go into these feelings. And it took a long time for me to understand that that was a main issue for me. And part of my childhood is why I developed some of the practices I have today as an adult. And I am working on them. So don't judge me. I'm trying to be transparent here because the people who listen to the podcast, we family. We don't have fans at the Big Exclusive Podcast. If you tuned in right now, if you comment, if you shared, you basically family. It's no judgment zone, and we welcome people to express themselves however they feel like they need to express themselves. And I just wanted a moment of transparency and a moment of honesty with myself and with you guys about some of the traumas that I've experienced. And I just wanted to share that with you because it's important that we as a community, as adults, number one, unlearn a lot of things so that we can progress and get better at communication. One of the reasons I don't communicate effectively in relationships, well, part of the reason is because I didn't know how to effectively communicate as a child. No one ever taught me. And growing up, the way I handled situations wasn't to communicate. It was to ball up in the shell and cover myself from the world. Like I was that snapping turtle. Like I would snap out and then I would go into my shell.
I want to. I'm gonna get into mine back. I'm gonna go backwards with it, and I know what how I was raised was Genesis for how I ended up being. And I'm getting ready to share something with y'all that's like real private and personal. I have never shared this with only a couple people know this. I was kidnapped before, tied up and burnt with hot knives. Like where the money at? What is the blah blah blah. So that my daughter was scheduled to be born 3 days later. So the whole time I'm like, dang, they're gonna kill me, and I'm not gonna, my child gonna grow up without a father. My other kids not gonna have, not gonna have a father. So I say this to say, like it kind of like, after they didn't kill me or whatever, it was like normal. Like they didn't kill me. It was like, I wasn't traumatized. Or it was just like normal because all the stuff that I saw growing up, and and going through. Like I seen at 12, 13 years old, I seen Big Steve. He was Superman to us. He gets shot. We playing football in the street. He gets shot like 5 times. One of them was like like the side of his head, whatever. They take him to the hospital. He survived. Steve gets shot again in the stomach, and Steve was like Superman or whatever. And my brother gets shot in the stomach at a bowling party, almost died through no fault of his own. My cousin is more so like my brother. He gets shot in the back because they trying to rob him in the projects. Like all this shit, like it was like normal to me. Like the cop put the gun in my face, and growing up, like you taught as a boy to be tough. You better not cry, and what that kind of stuff. And you don't know how to be. You don't even know how to be vulnerable. You
No.
know, in life. Period. When you grow up, so now you're not available. Like you start dating and you're not available in that way to a female, and they don't understand it. It's because I was never. You was taught the opposite of that shit.
Right.
And
And,
like the
and
violence and all that shit was normal where I came from. So for me to be tied up and burnt with hot knives, whatever. Once I got out of it, it was like it just had something that happened. Like, and this should happen every day.
yeah, and that is not normal. And I know you know that. And that is not normal. And I wanted because we talked about that when we had our conversation about the level of violence that we witnessed living where we was living, coming from where we come from. It was nothing. I remember the period of time from 95 to 96. There was somebody killed in our neighborhood like twice a week. It was somebody, and I'm not talking about just get shot.
Yeah,
I'm talking about murdered, hail of gunfire. At one point in time, um, you were just desensitized. I mean, we were desensitized to it because, like you said, it was just something that just happened. And to touch on another thing, and it could because that dealing with the PTSD, which most of us don't even realize that we have.
yeah,
We
yeah.
have post
It
traumatic
just you
stress
just
disorder
normalize that shit. Like,
from living from where we came from or growing up the way we came up. Guns were accessible. We saw people get killed every day. It was just something that happened. We understood it was a part of life and it was a war zone that we lived in. But something you touched on was very important when it comes to relationships and dealing with women. And a lot of what kids or young men, because I can only speak from a male's perspective and speaking to my situation, that a lot of times the women that raise us, this is not a shot at the moms, but they don't understand how important effective communication is. They don't understand how important being vulnerable is. They don't understand how important it is for us to develop communication skills and and to be able to detach from them. A lot of women are in relationships now and they're upset because the men that they're with cannot communicate effectively because they can't do what Angry OG just said. They can't show emotion. There's no vulnerability to them and they get upset and they can't understand why. And the one thing I try to explain to women, because again, I don't want to, beat up on women or anything like that. I just want to say, women, you have to learn that our history makes a difference. Our past shaped who we are. We're the sum total of our experiences. So if you don't create an environment where a man feels comfortable being vulnerable, he will never be vulnerable. If you don't create an environment where a man feels um, okay enough or safe enough to express emotions, he's never going to express those emotions. Because most of us growing up, raised by single moms and some with dads, um, are raised to be tough. Don't cry.
Yeah.
Shut up. Just get it done. Men don't whine. Men don't show emotion. All men do is work and provide, and that's your job. Is to get up, provide for a
And,
family,
and shut up before I give you something to cry for.
and shut up. Exactly. 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 We can hurt ourselves and we be in pain and ready to
Yeah.
cry.
Wipe,
And
get
we
up and wipe
couldn't,
it off. They tell you
yeah,
get up and try it again.
exactly. Get up, shake it off, try it again. And at the end of the day, we're never allowed to experience emotions. So if we're emotionally unavailable, it's because we don't know how. So instead of being frustrated, exercise some patience with us who've lived with the PTSD, who never got the opportunity to show and express those emotions. And remember that when you're raising your sons out there, okay? Allow them space to be vulnerable. Crying is not gay.
Not at
Crying
all.
is not a sign of weakness. Crying doesn't mean your son is soft. It means that he's in pain, physically or mentally. And you need to
And
address
that's what
those issues.
we need to release it, and then
Exactly.
you get to talk about
And he's a human being. Stop expecting these little boys to be supermen. Okay? Stop expecting that because in some circumstances, your significant other or the kid's father then left and he then found somebody else or y'all not together and there's this resentment, is this bitterness, and because that little boy looks like him, you take out that frustration and that anger on him and all the things you wanted from him. Now you think you're supposed to get it from your son, and that's not fair. Be mindful that you're not raising machines. You're raising human beings who need to be able to express emotion so they don't drop dead at 55. So they are in healthy, thriving relationships with women so that they know how to effectively communicate, express themselves mentally, physically, and emotionally. Like a lot of times, women are in bad positions with men because they're not used to being told no, because mom is raising son or son or my lord king or my lord prince, and they can't do no wrong and they're not being told no, and they running out here and rampant in these streets, and they could never understand why. Or
it.
these same women get with these same kind of men that these same kind of men that they raise from boys,
And then
and
wonder
they
and then can't deal with it.
and can't deal with it, can't understand what's so wrong, why we can't never talk. Just take a look in the mirror and see what it is that you're doing. Um, Flight, Tiff. I'm sorry, we kind of went on a tangent there, but I definitely like y'all perspective. And if you've made a comment, make no mistake about it. Your comment is going on the show. All right. I will get to them. Okay. But Flight, Tiff, y'all good or y'all want me to get into these comments?
Go ahead, Tiff.
Oh, okay, I'll go. My biggest thing, I have abandonment issues, from both my mother and my father, but they're in different varieties. They're packaged quite differently. I grew up with my mother. She was a single mom for a very long time, and her upbringing, she was taught to be very tough. She wasn't emotional. So you didn't get the I love yous with the kisses and the hugs. But when it came down to it, I always knew my mom had my back. But because of the trauma that she went through growing up, she would get angry, or I would do something as a child, and she would just stop speaking to me for days, sometimes for weeks, and I never understood why. With my father, he was never there. I just met my father when I was 24 years old, and I never understood why he had all of these kids. Like, my dad has a lot of kids. I think it might be between 7 and 10. I'm really not sure. But I never understood why he was in everyone else's life but wasn't in my life. So I always grew up questioning, well, is there something wrong with me? Did I do something? Was it my fault? So growing up with these two, with these emotions from these people, caused me to, I guess, hide from everybody. And because I had abandonment issues, it caused me to shut down as an adult. In a relationship, if something went wrong, it's like, okay, I'm done. No problem. You can go ahead and go about your business. And I would be very cold, and I never understood why until I took the time to self-reflect and actually go through therapy and just examine why I was like this. But I realized it was a defense mechanism. I'm going to leave you before you leave me. I'm not going to give you that chance to hurt me. So when it came time and I had my own children, what I did was I took everything that I didn't get growing up from my mother, from my father, and I shower my kids with affection, with my emotion. Like, I'm always kissing, hugging on them, telling them how much I love them, because I didn't get that growing up. Those talks that moms would have with their daughters, or their dads would have with their daughters, to watch out for this type of guy, or this is how your body changes and you have to be mindful. I didn't get that. So when it comes to my daughter, and my daughter is 10, I'm overly prepared. So she knows when these things happen what she needs to do. With my boys, I have 2 boys, and you saw their father earlier. We've talked, and we've had some of the same experiences. And my biggest thing for my boys is, number one, I'm always going to ride for you no matter what. You right, wrong, or indifferent. I may go hard for you in the paint, out in public, but behind closed doors, I'm going to tell you when you're wrong. Wrong is wrong. I always have their back, and I let them know it's okay to feel. It's okay to emote. Like, you have emotions. I don't want you to hold that back. I'm very big on body language with my kids. I know what they're feeling by their body language because I study them, because I know how I was when I was their age, when I wasn't being paid attention to like I wanted to be. There were times where I was really sad and I wanted my mom to say, well, what's wrong? Are you okay? Come talk to me. And I didn't get that. That's why I'm the way that I am with my kids now. I'm very overprotective with them. I'm hard on them and overprotective. But as far as the emotional standpoint of it all, I always tell my sons it's okay. Come sit down, talk to me, or let's take a ride, let's go to lunch. It's okay to let me know that you're hurting. You don't got to be tough all the time. It's okay. And I like the fact that I have the dynamic with their father that we do, because we try to instill the same thing in our kids because of what we went through as children. And I kind of wish he was here, too, so he can tell you some things. But it's really hard. It's something that I still suffer with. At times I can be a little bit cold, and that's why I kind of stepped off a little bit with relationships because I need to take some time for myself just to examine myself further mentally so that I can be everything I can be to my next partner. So I can be that overly emotional with my partner as I am with my kids. But it's definitely something that needs to be recognized. I think Big Exclusive, you really touched on that as far as mothers and how they are with their boys. Because my mom was the same way with my brother. Like I was raised one way, my brother was raised another. He can go wild and crazy and do whatever he wanted to do. I was being told every other week, I'm about to put you in a home. I'm gonna send you away. But here, this boy done stole your car, crashed it up. I'm not even doing half of the stuff he's doing. So I think the messages that we're sending to our children as they're growing up, we really have to be mindful because they become adults. And a lot of times they emulate everything that you have done as an adult as they were children growing up. But I think in some standpoint, everyone has gone through some type of trauma. And I think that therapy definitely is the way. It's a way that you can get out all your feelings, all your emotions, and it's a safe space, and it really helps you in the long run. That's something that I am incorporating in my family life with my kids. Maybe it may be some things that they don't feel comfortable sharing with me, but they may feel comfortable sharing with a therapist, and then we can all come together and speak about it. But I think that especially in this day and age with social media and society, our kids have it really hard. And I think that if the parents aren't paying attention, you'll lose your kids. You'll lose them to the streets. You'll lose them in general. So just be very cautious and be very cognizant of what you're instilling in your children and the messages that you're sending to them just by your interactions, because your interactions speak volumes, and it's something that's going to carry with them throughout their entire lives.
I agree, Tiff.
Now, I got one more thing to say on this, whatever. Like growing up, I was always told basically there's two kind of people. You got the hammer and you got the nail. Which one you want to be. I was always the hammer. Never wanted to be the nail. Never understood that it's times there's gonna come some times where it's okay to be the nail.
Yeah,
Never understood that. Always the hammer. Always.
I agree. Before I get to these comments, Flight, did you want to say something?
Nah, go ahead to the comments. Y'all touched enough.
Your testimony is yours, though, bro. So if you want to say something,
Nah, go ahead. Y'all,
okay.
you go get the comments.
Um, Dawn. First of all, everybody who comment, I want to say thank you. I know this is not what we do typically. We typically have a lot more fun, but this is just as important as having fun because um, therapy is necessary, especially coming from our community. I understand that turning that mirror on yourself and stripping away the mask, stripping away the facade, stripping away the preconceived notions that you have of yourself is hard, but it's necessary so that you can progress and so that you can mature. And it's not what you see in the mirror is not going to be pretty, but keep looking in there, keep stripping it away, and then you'll get to a place where what you find is love, is beauty, and the essence of who you are, and the understanding that the essence of who you are is good enough. You don't have to be a specific kind of way. It's okay to be you. The world doesn't need cookie cutters. The world needs individuals who are mentally mature, who have mental stamina, and who are ready to love and be loved. Because what the world needs now is love, sweet love. Y'all know the rest. Dawn said, shout out to Dawn for sharing this. I was born with a rare skin condition called matosis. I hope I'm saying that right. Neurofibromatosis. And I was teased still to this day. My grandmother always told me to take the bitter with the sweet. I didn't understand what she meant as a child, but I understand it as an adult. Um, Dawn, I appreciate you. I love you. I never judged you for your skin condition. Like, you always been family to us from the day that I met you. It was just always love. I didn't care about what you had on your skin. For some people, it can be shocking, but at the end of the day, you always been a dope person to me. And you always been beautiful. So, like Grandma said, take the bitter with the sweet, and know that there's people out there who love you regardless of that. All right? And I hope my family has been a testimony of that. Christine said, my childhood trauma came from hating how I looked because my mom's boyfriend called me a little ugly black monkey. I thought I was ugly up until I was damn near 30. I never smiled in pictures. I was ashamed of my big ears, dark skin. Then I realized that my skin and my smile were absolutely beautiful. Always was and definitely still is. She said, "Yup, bro. He was a little." I guess she was referring to when G Gerald was up here. She said, "Yup, bro. He was a little upset when we talked to you when he was here, and you didn't call him dad. He told me to tell you that you're his son, and you will always will be." All right, that just put the lump in my throat. Yeah. Um, Yeah, I remember the dealership and ice cream with Dad Joe. He was a great dad to us. He definitely was. Big Rose says, salute for sharing, big bro. Respect. Christine said, I love you, big bro. Thanks for sharing. You know, I've had your back since day one, and I always will. That is true. Big Rose said, damn, OG. I guess he referring to the kidnapping. Christine said the same thing. Damn, OG, with the law's decree, you made it through that. Thanks for sharing. Summer said, not having my father in my life consistently has been a huge issue. I think it has affected the way I've picked men. He cheated on my mom and blamed her, but my brother is my age, so I could have dated him, and we have never known. Wow. I still don't know my brother. I found myself waiting for a man to cheat. It's inevitable in my mind. I know that's not true, but he was my example. He was such an angry man. I never really got to know him. He was always combative, so there was no point. Wow, Summer, I appreciate you sharing that. Thank you so much. Dawn said, I don't know you, Mr. Angry, but I'm glad that you're here to tell your story. She also said, "It's a certain presence of my boys. It's a certain present of boys and girl have been molested, and that's what some of their lives. They walk crooked because they didn't get psychological help." Christine said, I've seen several murders. We had the JBM living around the corner, messing with whoever walked past their house, all kinds of violence in the neighborhood, crackheads having sex outside for crack, cops raiding crap games, giving us the money. Then the drug dealers was threatening us for their money back. I've had bad anxiety due to these events. I can personally attest that all that is true. Christine, again, thank you for sharing. Big Road come through. He said, my father was an abusive man. Growing up, he would beat me for for reasons children didn't need to get beaten over. He had a lot of issues growing up himself, and it manifested when he became a father with me taking the grunt of his rage. And I took it, and it made me start lifting weights just to be physically able to take the beating he was giving me. But then he tried the same thing with my younger brother. And by then I was 6'1, 275, and I could not only defend myself, but defend others. Big role. I appreciate that. Seriously, man. Y'all coming through with these moments of honesty, and I appreciate, y'all doing it on the platform with us. Christine said, I let my sons know that crying is okay. They have cried to me many a days. That's what's wrong with these men now. They want to be so hardcore and show very little emotion. Now they're being abusive because they didn't know how to express their emotions verbally. That's true. Parents out here beating their babies because they can't control their emotions, emotional moments, says Dawn. Andrea hit it on the head. She said, sadly, hurt people hurt people. Rima said, I was the same way, Tiffany. Bounce first. Summer said, I made sure my kids knew therapy was necessary because I know as a parent we can unknowingly damage our children. along with the outside world. I also didn't let them grow up the way I did. I've seen way too many dead bodies. Everyone laughs at me because I'm so sensitive when it comes to watching gangster movies. There's nothing pleasurable about seeing people being murdered on TV when I've seen it in real life. That is true. That is true. Now I still watch, but when you've seen the shit that I've seen, like you find yourself critiquing television, like, no, that ain't how it go. I don't know how people get shot and be having all these last words and going through these diatribes while they die. Right, exactly. Dawn said, I do know who my parents was, but I didn't have either one. Their siblings raised me, and the trauma I endured at age 4 until I was 16. Christine said, Tiffany, my mother treated my brothers differently from her girls. They were praised, and we were not. I can personally attest to that. She's not lying. That was Christine. Um, Andrea said, this is so deep and extremely therapeutic. I wish that we had more time to talk. Thanks to everyone who shared. Remember that you're never alone. And if we had more time, all right. Oh, she was saying if we had more time, she was just doing the grammar check, correcting it. Dawn said, I love your family and thinks I need to hear that, big little bro. Um, Andrea said, if I had more time, I'd share my story in detail here. Uh, I share my story in detail. Here are the highlights. Number one, no father in my life. Number two, my mom had men in and out like a revolving door. Number three, ended up in foster care. Number four, was a teenage mother while my mom was locked in her room doing crack. Five, I took care of my sister while she had cancer, plus raising my son. Six, I was I was tapped by family. I was raped by a family friend. My mother went to prison in Jamaica for drug smuggling. The list goes on, but I'll stop here. Um, Andrea, what I'm gonna say to you is that it's a reason that you're here. Your resilience is a testimony to that black girl magic everybody speaks about, and you're never alone. Again, I don't say that shit just to be saying it. It's not nothing cool to say, but I believe everybody who tuned into the show and show this kind of love and share these kind of stories, you guys are family. Okay, so you're never alone. You can reach out to any one of us on this podcast, inbox, like whatever you need to do. If you ever need to talk and a professional is not available, hit one of us up. We there for you. And I'm sending, what I mean, you hugs and continued strength and continued resilience. You're a testament to how strong we can be or how strong women can be, right? You're a testament to that. So keep being that shining example of strength and just understand you don't have to be strong all the time. There are people around who love you and who'll help you carry that weight and give you the comfort that you need as well. Um, let's get into this last comment. Christine says, sending prayers and hugs. You're a strong, beautiful black queen. Salute. I agree with that. This show has been amazing. Amazing. We didn't get to all the topics, but y'all know how we do. It'll carry over to next week's show. Family, you guys have topics you want to talk about. Like I said, you can always send them to us. I don't know where Hannibal went, but he under asked OG a question. He needed some help with something. We'll get you next week. Just inbox what it is, and it's been heavy. Like I said, it's not normally what we do, but this was very necessary. Like somebody said, this was very therapeutic for me. I always tell people the whole reason that I wanted to do the podcast is because it's very cathartic for me. I get to get on here and talk about situations that I go through. I get to get real time feedback from people who may have shared experiences. Um, and it's important that we recognize um, this as a safe space to come on and share your story, share your testimony. And like Summer just said, thank you. Thanks for this and having Samia. Um, First of all, I meant what I said about having Samia and her friends take over the podcast just to get the youth's perspective. it's extremely important that we recognize that kids are intelligent. They have minds of their own. They are our future, and they need to be heard, and we need to listen. I just learned a lot listening from her. Something she said that kind of, shook me, which I hope that, to talk about next time she comes on. But it's nice to see our future, beautiful, young, intelligent women of color and HBCUs doing their thing. And, I hope that my daughters aspire to do the same exact thing. Special salute to Summer Thomas um, for raising beautiful women of color, continuing that black girl magic, and just being an example again of resilience. I know Summer's been through some things, and she shared some of them here, but she's another shining example of what's perseverance and resilience look like. As a people, we take pig guts and turn them into something they can't figure out, how to make, and they love to this day. We're resilient people. I wish we weren't so forgiving, you know what I mean? But um, it's important that spaces like this exist. I don't want to ramble on, but lastly, I want to say it's important that spaces like this exist because this could be the first step for someone who wants to get into therapy, who needs to figure out how to get into therapy, or don't understand the power of therapy, because this felt like a session for me. So I appreciate you guys sticking around. Like, the audience retention on here has been crazy. Like, you guys stuck around for every word. And I can't thank you enough for being there to support me, being there to support the OG, Tiff, and comedian Top Flight. But we got to bring it to an end, right? Um, and I want to do like we always do. Big Rose said, I got a lot of love and respect for all y'all tonight. Definitely family. Come on, let's hold hands and follow me. Follow me. Raymond said this discussion is absolutely needed. I agree. Christine said this podcast touched on some very important topics. I enjoyed this so much. Thank you, kings and queens, for all you do. Summer with the love, Nene with the love. But we end every podcast with each person on the panel being able to give a last word. It doesn't have to be related to the topic. It could just be something that you want archived that'll be around for future generations to hear. It could be a message to a loved one. It could be a message to your kids. But I want to allow people to get that final word in before we end the show. Who'd like to go first? Oh my God, I'll
I'll
go
go
first.
first.
Oh, okay. Tiff.
First and foremost, first and foremost, I just want to thank you again for allowing me to be on this platform and share some vulnerability and some laughs. Um, I really tried to hold it in, but that lump was in my throat too, and I'm like, that's the first thing I was thinking about all day long was I don't want to cry, I don't want to cry, but I knew some tears were going to be shed, and just hearing everybody's stories it was really touching. I want to say I love you to my children, Malachi, Taylor, and Mackenzie. Like, y'all have no idea. You cracked the code. It's because of you I'm working on me internally with my emotions and wanting to be better for you guys as well as myself. I want everybody on here to realize, everybody on this panel, everybody listening, everybody watching, anybody that's ever gone through any type of trauma and ever felt less than, you are amazing. You are magical. Please continue to speak life into your children, into yourselves, and just know that you are enough.
I agree, Tiff. Thank you so much. I appreciate you always making yourself available to come on and add that feminine energy to the podcast. I can't thank you enough, and I can't tell you how valuable your input is. I appreciate you. I love you, and I'll see you soon. OG, you good? Wait a minute. This is important. Tamika said, yes, I need therapy, me and my children, but I need to be directed in the right place. Uh Summer said, Tamika, I saw the post with the local black therapist. I'll send it to you when I find you. When I find it, I'm sorry. And yeah, Tamika, you can inbox any one of us, and we'll point you in the right direction. We'll help as much as we can, to get you, whatever help you think you may need. This is also super important for me to say right quick. Um, there are many therapists. It's okay if you don't feel comfortable with one. There are other ones out there. Finding a therapist is not as simple as, looking it up and saying, hey, I need therapy. Some people might not be the right fit for you. So just make sure if you're not comfortable in that first session, take your time. Keep going to different people till you find somebody you're confident in and you feel safe with. Because the most important thing in therapy is to be vulnerable. Lift that weight off the shoulders, get that tension off your chest, get that stress out. Nothing is too embarrassing. Sometimes just saying it out loud is all you need to do. You don't have to expand upon it. You don't have to dig any deeper. Sometimes just hearing the words come out your mouth, getting it out your system is enough. So I just wanted to add that. Flight, OG, who want to go next?
Um, think I'll take it. Um, I just want to take this time and just pray for everybody. Dear Heavenly Father, we just ask that you continue to be a blessing in all our lives. Everyone watching this video, listening to this video, or will see this video at a later date. We just ask that you continue to just touch that mind, body, heart, soul, and spirit. Continue to guide us as we need you to be our GPS as we walk through this thing that we call life. Until we get to our final destination, which is by your side, we just ask that you just continue to just touch all our spirits, touch our family, touch our children, because they are the future and we need them to continue this thing that we call life. So, with that being said, Father, I just ask that you continue to just touch all of us. Touch my brothers, my my family, my kids as well, and just continue to be a blessing in all our lives. And I ask these things in your sweet and precious name. Amen.
Amen, brother Flight. We appreciate that. Stick around for a hot second, okay? OG, it's me and you. All right. I'm a you see the amens coming in. I'm gonna give OG a minute. I'm kind of deviate from what I normally say before I say anything. Big Rose said, coming towards the end of the year, looking at the growth of the show, looking at Flight, his amazing work ethic, and entertainment, things looking really, really dope. The direction is inspiring. Salute. Yo, I appreciate that, Big Roll. So what I normally say or I try to end the show with a message to my daughters. I'm gonna do the same thing. It's a little different this time. I'm gonna start out by saying, Kayla and Cameron, Daddy don't have the words to express how much I love you guys and how important you guys are to me. What I will say is how much you guys inspire me every day to be a better father, a better man, and a better person, and an asset to this community we call the Black community. I want to say I appreciate y'all for always, always, no matter what storms Daddy face outside the door, but coming in the house and being greeted by your smiles, your hugs, your laughter, and overall your love keeps me motivated. And it's always, always everything that I need in that moment. So, with that being said, again, I love you guys. Flight, love you. OG, love you. Everybody who's tuned into the podcast, love you. Tiff, love you. There's some people who are normally here but aren't right now. Just understand when I say this. This podcast for me, OG, and Flight, it ain't no money making machine. We'll always say none of us really make money from this, right? But what it does for us, it allows us a platform to express ourselves from an everyday's person, everyday's black man point of view, which is important because a lot of media outlets, we don't have access and they don't show um, stuff like me, Flight, and OG being great dads. They don't show that, man. They like to show the other side where, black people are committing violent acts against each other. But we here just to say, like, it's not all what they trying to lead it on to be. It's some very productive members of the society and our community, and we do our best. Number one, to entertain. Number two, to make you laugh. Number three, give you a safe space so where you feel like you can express yourself. And lastly, but not leastly, just be a space where we recognize you as being human, showing you love, allowing you the opportunity to be a part of this podcast because without y'all, we couldn't do it. We probably wouldn't do it. But seeing the testimonies you guys offer tonight is inspiring and it's going to keep us motivated to keep going. We promise we'll try to come back, you know what I mean, inshallah, or with God's blessing, we'll try to be back next week. We'll try to be more entertaining. The show is open to you guys all the time. Inboxes, questions, inboxes, topics. Lastly, to our executive producer, Don at Critical Shot Studio, thanks for making us look good and sound good and giving us a platform to speak to the people. Big Exclusive Podcast. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. And we